Hi guys, tonight we're gonna make super duper yummy appetizers, two of them, and they're both gonna be made with puff pastry. I've already started the first one. One is going to be with Brie, some sliced green apple, and some bacon on some of them for those of us who are not vegetarians. And we're gonna bake them in the oven and they're gonna be awesome. Each separate appetizer is two different shapes using the puff pastry. And we'll do the Brie and the green apple second, and they're gonna be awesome. That flavor profile is really, really yummy. And the first one that we're gonna do that I've already kind of started is going to be with this is my food processor. And in here, I already have some olives, some Kalamata pitted olives, some sun-dried tomatoes, some capers, and some toasted walnuts. And if you don't like any of those ingredients, please leave them out. Or if you're nut free, leave the nuts out. Or if you prefer a different kind of nut, like toasted pine nuts or toasted hazelnuts, that would be yummy. Just pop those in there instead. And then we're gonna put some cheese on here. And you know, with these two appetizers, I'm kind of, because we're in the holiday season, I'm kind of going through and seeing what I have leftovers of and kind of inventing things there, you know, not reinventing the wheel in any way, but, or making anything difficult. Everything is super easy, but I'm just kind of going through and see what I have left in reserve in their fridge. So that's kind of how I came up with these. And I love using puff pastry. It comes in a box like this, and you get 2 sheets. And each sheet looks like this. I have one down here, and they're folded in thirds like this. And then you unfold it, and the seams might come apart a little bit, and all you have to do is smush them back together with your fingers. And you can keep this in the freezer. So it's great also if if somebody calls you in the morning and they're coming over later and you're gonna have cocktails or whatever, and a glass of wine, and you can just make these quickly and pop them in the oven. And a lot of people do have some of these pantry items already, so just put them in your food processor, whisk them up, or even if you just have a block of cheese or some pre-shredded cheese even, although I don't like to use pre-shredded cheese because it does have some additives in there to prevent caking. If you have some cheese, just put it in here, roll it up, slice it up, cook it. It's amazing. It's like a nice, hot, warm, toasty appetizer, and it's a little more interesting than cheese and crackers, which I love cheese and crackers, but you know. Okay, so let's get started. Enough of my rambling. So here I have this little mixture here, and we're just going to top our puff pastry with it. We're gonna leave like an inch at the end right here, just so we can seal it up with some egg wash. We're gonna roll this one up and then cut it. All right, let's get all of this in here. I love this stuff. I love like olives and that like flavor combination of olives and capers and sun-dried tomatoes. I just love that like flavor combination. So we'll spread that all over. Now my cheeses, the cheese we're using is kind of dependent on what I have in the fridge. And I already have a lot of cheese in the fridge, especially around the holiday season. But I just wanted to explain to you why I'm using certain cheeses and why I'm not using other cheeses. So, all right, I've got that nice and spread out. The walnuts make it, I'm telling you, they bring this toasty, nutty flavor. Yummy. Okay. I have some shredded mozzarella. I shredded it myself. And I like this because it's ooey gooey, you know? It's a good melting cheese and it gets nice and gooey. You don't need too much. And then I have all sorts of cheeses in front of me. I have some leftover Gruyere from something. I always have a nice block of Parmesan cheese. This is Pecorino Romano. It's kind of like, you can interchange these two even though they are different flavor profiles, but they're not too different and the textures aren't too different. Pecorino, excuse me, is a sheep's milk cheese, and Parmesan is a cow's milk cheese. So this is good if you have issues with cow's milk. And it's also a younger cheese, so it's a little more pungent, a little sharper. And then this is some really good cheddar, really, really good cheddar. But it's slightly salty, so I'm not sure it would pair super well with the olives and the capers. Oh, there was also a little bit of anchovy paste in this spread, but if you don't like that, just leave it out. I love it though. And I don't eat anchovies like out of the can or anything like that. I just really like anchovy paste or anchovies in something else. Okay, so we've got our mozzarella down, and I think we're going to use some pecorino. And I think we're also going to use some Parmesan and some Gruyere. And I have these, and I just always feel like that's the way I cook. The more you watch this channel, the more you'll really realize that I really don't like to waste things. I really don't. Like, in order not to waste things, I'll literally just eat finish everyone's dinner off. I hate to see food go to waste. All right. Then we have our Gruyere. I'm just going to grate this up. Nice, nutty, kind of pungent when it's not cooked, but it gets a little more mild when it's melted. It's the cheese that you find traditionally on French onion soup. It's really yummy. It's one of my favorite cheeses. It's really nutty as well. All right, spread that out nice. And can't hurt to put a little Parmesan cheese on. So we'll just put a little, just a little. I just always have Parmesan cheese, so why not? All right, let's get that all over the top. Now, I am going to bring you down over the counter so you can see closely how I roll this up. Hey guys, I think this is the only time I've ever had you over on this side of the counter. And I wanted to show you something. I thought I was filming the entire time I did this, but here is our little pastry. We've divided it into 1-inch pieces. I cut it up with a sharp knife into 1-inch pieces. All right, we've got it on our sheet pan. And what we want to do is spread them out like so. And they're gonna puff up and get really, really yummy. So we're turning it over on its side. And they're going to go into our preheated 400-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. Just keep your eye on them a bit. Always keep your eye on anything that's bready in your oven. All right, let's make room for this one. And they're going to grow, so just be aware of that. All right, that's it. They're going in the oven. Hey guys, so our pastries have been in the oven for about 20 minutes. I checked them at 15 and they just weren't ready yet. So let me show you what they are going to look like when I get them out of the oven. Oh, see how yummy and toasty and like cheesy they are, and brown, and they're perfect little like 3-biters, you know, or 2-biters for the men. They're just perfect. They're perfect with cocktails, and they're not messy. They're just gonna be awesome and yummy with cocktails. All right, let's get back to the counter. Those little olive appetizers, so yummy. If the walnuts kind of threw you off, don't let them. because I swear they are so, so yummy in there. The olives are insanely delicious in there. Okay guys, let's get started on our brie and apple pastry. And then we're gonna add bacon to a few of them too. Bacon that I've already fried up, it's right over here. So let's, first we have to peel our apples. So I have 2 Granny Smith green apples here. Hey guys, so I'm just finishing up this one apple that we're peeling up. And now we'll slice them up and we'll assemble our pastries. So I'm gonna cut these up and we're gonna do pretty thin slices. And actually, let me show you how. Really yummy. How I do this. So I'll do that one after. So we peeled this up. We're gonna cut it down the middle. And it has the core in it, obviously. We've all cut an apple before. And then we'll cut this one in half. And then the way to get the core out is, gosh, I wish we had a better angle, is I'm going to cut this on a diagonal just like that. And I'll show you. And it's very easy to do. And then you get the core clean out. And it kind of looks like this. And I'll do the next one. Just cut it on an angle and then get the core out. It looks like a triangle. And that's the easiest way, unless you have one of those gadgets for coring apples, which I don't. I like to do it this way anyway. So I'll show you what this looks like, how thin we're gonna get these. I'm gonna take each one of these quarters and kind of just cut them down like this. You might not even need both apples, but it doesn't matter because I love apples anyway. So see, we're gonna need them about this big. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that with my apples and I will be right back. Okay, so I think we're only gonna use one of our apples and I'm flouring my board right now. You wanna make sure you do that when you are working with puff pastry so that the puff pastry doesn't stick. And like I showed you before, when you're working with puff pastry, it comes folded into thirds like this. This one is kind of sticking together a little bit, but no big deal. It's easy. If that happens, just work with it and it'll open up. And we've got it nice and opened. Take your paper off, obviously. And we'll just kind of smush it all back together with our fingers. And I have my rolling pin handy in case I needed it, because sometimes the seam, as you see it's folded in thirds, sometimes this seam will come like unglued, but it's just super easy to get back together. All right, so let's get our knife. So with this one, I think we're going to do it in, let's cut it in half first. And then we'll cut these in half again. These are super fun, 2-biters. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing again. And we'll assemble all of them and then we'll roll them up at the same time. Okay, so you want to prep all of your ingredients first. These are so cute and they're so easy and yummy. And they're perfect with cocktails. Okay, so I have my Brie cheese here. And we're going to take the, normally I eat the rind on my Brie, but we're going to take the rind off for this. There we go. Yummy, I love Brie. All right, you don't have to be crazy about it. gonna leave the bottom part on because I'm just gonna kind of break off pieces and put little pieces inside. Yummy. Okay, so let's get a little brie on each one, or I'll show you how I'm gonna do one first, and then I'll show you how I'm gonna do, and then I'll do the rest and I'll bring you right back. But here's one. We have a little piece of brie. We're gonna put one apple over here. And one apple over here, and we're gonna put another little piece of brie right on top. And the brie's gonna melt, so don't worry about getting it like, you know, in squares or whatever. Actually, first we're going to put a little bit of orange zest on it. It looks pretty, it's orange, obviously. Little pepper. And our little piece of brie. Right over the top. Obviously you want to make sure you have clean hands. You could do this with other types of cheese as well. All right, so we've got the brie on there. And then, you know what helps? If you wet your fingers. Just wet your fingers and the brie will not stick. Then we're gonna fold it over. Little dab of egg wash on the corners to make sure that it wraps up. And then, okay guys, so our little pastries are all ready. Let me show you what they look like before they go in the oven. They're all done. Our oven is preheated. It's at 400 degrees and they'll probably be in there for about 20 minutes, but I'll show you what they look like when they come out.